My name is Dale Weber. I'm the Professor of Environmental Management at the University of the West Indies, and I hold the GraceKennedy Chair of Environmental Management, which is why I'm so connected to you. Today I want to talk about what we've been doing at the University of the West Indies with GraceKennedy funding and the foundation, and try and get you on board to become a champion in plastic bottle separation at source. Why do we want to do this? Because it's important to our environment, and the environment is everything that's around you. It's the air you breathe, it's the soil you walk on, it's the sand at the sea, it's the water that we don't have in our taps. It is everything and much more. Who is a steward? An environmental steward is someone who takes care of the environment on behalf of the environment. Now, truth be told, left alone, the environment could take care of itself. But it's because of what we do that we need to do something about managing the environment. So you're going to become a steward of the environment and a steward of the earth by the time we're through with you today. Waste is inevitable. Whatever you do, you end up making waste. And you are in a production setting, I can see. Very impressed when I walked in, by the way. But it means you must have some waste. Everybody produces waste, and every goods, services, consumable will end up producing waste. So that's a necessary evil. Plastics are a major part of our waste, and I want to take us through what we're doing with plastics. Where does your plastic go, by the way? Anybody know? The rubbish pan, which end up at Riverton, if you're lucky, but much of it does not. Much of our plastics ends up on our coastline and ends up in our oceans. You notice I'm from the Center for Marine Sciences. Apart from being environmental management, I'm also marine sciences, and I started working in the water. And that's Kingston Harbor, and that's all solid waste that has come down from the gullies, the 21 gullies that drain Kingston. That's what it looks like when it gets into the rest of the plants. So plastic on our shoreline is not something you want to work with. That's supposed to be a fisherman trying to fish in the middle of what is a plastic ocean. What happens? That's a turtle that decided it was going to swim through what was a six-pack plastic. That's one dead turtle. Here's a seal that got entangled in plastic roping, and a bird that had all covered with plastic material. Dolphins also get caught, and larger animals get caught by the range of ropes and nets that are out there. So what we're producing on land ends up in the sea. Would you fish in plastic? Well, that's what they're doing here. It's supposed to be water, but that's all plastic. Reams and reams of plastic. That is a jellyfish, right? And a jellyfish is something that's in the water. Wrong. That's a plastic bag floating in the water. And many turtles think that jellyfish is their most favorite meal, but then plastic bags get mistaken for jellyfish, and there you go. So those are all turtles that succumbed to eating plastic thinking it was food. Inside, you also find a lot of material. Inside turtles, 86% of turtles have some plastics that they've swallowed. 23% of seals have plastic they've swallowed, and 30% of seabirds have plastics they've swallowed. And then, not to mention the plastic twines that wrap up around their limbs. So we end up with a lot of plastic that ends up in our environment, 20 million tons per year. They get into the ocean and they stay there in a place called a jar. We're here in Jamaica, but you have some jars all around the world where plastics collect. Some of them are larger than the island of Jamaica itself. The jars get formed by the currents that move them around. That's big ocean stuff. But what I wanted to notice, in the Caribbean, so there's a US coast, that's Florida, there is Cuba, there is Jamaica. We have plastics, and a lot of plastics accumulate. Some accumulate in the Atlantic, but some accumulate in the Caribbean Sea. Plastics are made of a number of things that are not so healthy for us to encounter. We have been studying where this plastic has been coming from and how much of it we make. 2000 and 2006, two earlier studies, we've recently completed one. The amount of plastic is increasing. 12%, 14%, 18% in 2012. We're going to do another one in 2015. We are making more plastic. You'll notice that some things like paper are going down as we're making more and more electronic surveys, less and less paper surveys. So we generate 1.2 million tons of garbage per year. 70% of that is collected. 30% of it is just all over the place. If it can biodegrade, it can contribute to the growth of other organisms. If it can't biodegrade, means it can't break down, it's going to stay there and stay there and stay there. What I want you to walk away from here today is the 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce. The first thing we need to do is reduce our packaging. All that plastic that we put in that's going to end up out in the oceans or in the landfills, we need to reduce that. You also need to reduce styrofoam because styrofoam has its purpose. It is a good carrying mechanism. It's made of petroleum and styrene. However, it's come to our attention that a lot of people take styrofoam containers and you, for instance, put them in a microwave. Very bad idea. The US EPA confirms that styrene, which is what makes styrofoam, is a carcinogen, meaning cancer forming. When you heat styrofoam, bad idea. Have you ever heated your chicken in a styrofoam container till it stick to the container? Now you are eating styrene and you are accumulating something that's going to be probable cancer forming later on in life. You need to change that. You need to, I don't know what your operations are in your canteen, but you need to move away from styrene. You need to go to Pyrex containers, glass containers. That's how you want to go. So reduce. Reuse. Reuse containers wherever you can. Yes, that's a good thing, but there's some containers you should not reuse. And Crystal is going to help me with this. And Caroline. Thank you, thank you. We're going there, we're going there, we're going there. So I want you to reuse the right container. Those of you who like to take your coffee, why not take it in something that you can continually reuse without any problem? Hardened plastic, no problem there, and metal. Water bottles, this is my water bottle. I guess because I'm a diver, it looks like a tank that you, but this is what I carry my water in and it keeps insulated and cool. You end up using your bottles and you should use some, others you must not. So I wanted to look at the bottom of the bottles that you have that have just passed out. There should be a triangle at the bottom. That triangle, Crystal Gale, that triangle has a number in it. So can I see anybody with a triangle that says a 1? That's a 1? Anybody else with a 1? Well, you need glasses, right? No, you have glasses. PC. Okay, that's bad news. Don't go there. 1. So hold up all the bottles with a 1, please. The bottles. All right, so look around. See the ones? Look at the side. If you don't see it at the bottom, look to like somewhere around here. All right, so ones. Ones are resin type 1. The plastic that makes it is called a resin type 1, PET, polyethylene terephthalate. You should not reuse PET bottles. I'm pausing for the effect because I know you do it and you need to stop. Do not, he says, yeah, yes, that one. You need to stop. Do not reuse type 1 bottles. And from here, I will know who you are, because when I walk into the supermarket and I see people looking at the bottle, I say, aha, I got to that one. Check those triangles. Type 1. Why you want to do that? Because its melting point is so low, it can start to disintegrate under extreme temperature. Very hot, very cold. And I see people here who I know put a bottle of water in the fridge and the freezer, freeze it, and then come back and pick it up the next morning and think you have nice water. PET bottles, no, stay away from them. One use only. Or if you're going to use it continually, you have to use it at room temperature and only for water. It's also very porous, meaning all of your saliva or whatever you had in that container is now absorbing to the side of the bottles. And each time you drink and refill, you are refilling with some of yesterday's. And type 2. Anybody with a type 2 bottle? There we go, type 2. Now type 2, notice I have type 2 in green. Type 2 bottles are good to go. You can reuse those as often as you wish. They are hardened, high density plastic. No problem with temperature, no problem with porosity. Type 3 you shouldn't have, that's PVC. Avoid that. Type 4 and 5 you should have. Anybody with a 4? There should be one bottle here with a 4. There you go. That's my daughter's water bottle. I hope she don't beat me up for it. But that's a great water bottle. You can use it as long as you want. Type 5. Anybody with a type 5? Type 5 I found to my surprise, there's another water bottle, and type 5 is a GraceKennedy product. It is the yogurt bottles do that, and that's the porridge, which is why you can get that hot without a problem. It can take heat. Type 6 is styrene. We just talked about styrene. Stay away from that. Type 7 or PC, that's what you have there, sir? Okay, so type 7 or PC is a really bad item, and that was my daughter's water bottle. Yes. You know, this is no longer her water bottle. It's his now. The idea is type 7 has a special compound which has now been linked with obesity in children. Why would they take that to make children's water bottle? That's long ago and far away. So, what I wanted to think about is as you reduce and you reuse, look at these symbols in terms of the reuse. We've passed out some paperwork of this so you can see it and make your own judgment. So, reduce, reuse, last R is recycling. Recycling means turning a waste product into something else. If we recycle, we reduce what goes into the landfill, and we can use that landfill for longer, and we can reduce the amount of waste that's going into the streams. Those of you who have never been to Riverton, that's Riverton. Separating your plastics from your glass, from your metal out at Riverton is not a nice idea. People do it, but that's not what we want. We want you to separate at source. We want you to separate in the beginning. 20% of the waste we produce is plastic, and 65% of that 20% is plastic bottles. So since we're not going to reuse the PET bottles, which is the polyethylene terephthalate, the type 1s, we need to get rid of them. So here's where you come in and get rid of them. In 2000, there were 246 million plastic bottles in Jamaica. Our study says 6% of Jamaicans generate one plastic bottle per day, which means 52 million generated in 1 year. That's a lot of bottles in Jamaica. So we need to separate them at source and go to something else. Why? Because plastic bottles take a long time. All plastic take a long time to biodegrade or to degrade naturally. 450 years. 5 to 6 generations. So your great-great-great-great-grandchild could have the same water bottle that you have right now. Yeah. We want to take that and change it to something else. So as we collect your plastic bottles, on that side, we're going to take it and change it to something else. You can either crush it, which we do and export it, or you can shred it. That's the shredded plastic that I'm passing around. Those are some plastic bottles. You can do a number of things with them. You can make T-shirts. All right, so all the doubters, start with the boss up front. That's a T-shirt made completely from plastic bottles. And this is made by a company called 8 Bottles. 8 plastic bottles made that shirt, where you melt the plastic down, spin it back into fibers, and make a shirt. Now, we're not quite there in Jamaica yet, but we need to be able to send the plastic to somebody who can get the plastic out of our system and make it productive. We can do a number of other things. For instance, did you know that most carpets, the floor basing of carpets is made from recycled plastic? A number of things you can make. My plastic recycle bin that you're going to help me fill is made from recycled plastic. So we had a project, University of West Indies, with the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica, to collect plastic bottles all around the campus and all around schools. In the schools, we said to them, these fill up very fast, by the way, in the schools. So we said to them, as a school project, come up with something. One school came up with this. They made a metal frame, threaded it with wire, and then put the plastic bottles on. That's an ingenious, larger container than mine. So we want to continue that in schools, but the funding has run out at EFJ, and we are stuck. That is what we've been doing at the university. We've collected over 1 million plastic bottles. We've baled them, shredded them. We've created jobs. That's what they look like when they're going in bags. That's a baler, so it makes them into a square of crushed plastic. And then we ship that out. Texas, China, number of places now do the recycling. You can make caps, you can make rope, you can make shoes, hangers, number of things from the recycled plastic. And you can, a number of other things you can do with it if you're not going to refabric. Or you can move to my next stage, which is I'm going to make plastic lumber. A machine which allows me to take the plastic bottles, not the PET type 1s, but these, the high density, the type 2, put them into this machine, and it makes plastic lumber at the end. What I intend to do? Make park benches, make school desks, make flooring, make anything at all. Or plumber. All right, cool. I will work with that. The good thing about plumber, nice word, is that if it starts to walk, bend or anything, you just bring it back to me, I shove it in the machine, and a new piece of plumber come out. That's the ultimate in recycle. Anyway, we ran out of funds. The EFJ had no more funds to offer. We went into a partnership, therefore, with GraceKennedy, and he was then my principal, but I hear he's now your principal. Mr. Webby and I, we got into a little... So instead of having containers which said the Environmental Foundation, it now says GraceKennedy Group, and that one I think says Foundation. So now you are branded and you are the owners of this. So you have to start at home. You have to start by putting stuff in there for us. So those are the containers that we now have, and we're rolling them out. And these are yours to stay here. What have we been doing so far since we've started the GraceKennedy groups? We've done from the head office, average up to 50-pound bags, 5 bags, total volume 10, Grace canning 10 bags, hardware and lumber 7 bags, but that's every 6 weeks. What I want to point out is AIB 3.5 bags. But guess what? AIB got on a schedule and they did it every week. Lesson 1, consistency is key. AIB has done more plastic bottling than any other GraceKennedy organization since we started in Caroline, February. So you're here now to make a difference, so you're going to outdo them. Next steps. Well, 20 bins are already out with GraceKennedy groups, and as we go and give these talks, we bring out more of them. So we have another 25 bins that we're dispatching by the end of July, so the first 3 are here. And we're going to make more presentations so that all subsidiaries of GraceKennedy know about this, and we'll do our orientation for schools that you've selected. Maritime, we need to do Caribbean Maritime Institute, because they've just come on board. What role will you play? Well, as an individual, I want you to bring your plastics and put them in here. That's your contribution. Other people say dump in plastic, separate at source. The ideal place to put this, by the way, is where you have a traditional bin, put this bin right beside it. So as I walk up with my bag of something and my bottle of something, the bag goes in the traditional bin, the bottle goes in the plastic bin. Separation at source. Makes it so simple. I don't know how your division is going to participate, if it's going to be just the factory, the people, are you going to bring it from home? What changes are you going to make in the office? Are you going to put these in the coffee room? That's something you have to decide on, and I'm sure you've employed one of your people to be the champion in leading this. We're going to have to talk with them about it. And what changes will you make at home? Because we want the multiplier effect. We want you to go home, tell others about what you've seen, learned here today, so that by the time I talk to another company and say, oh yeah, we know about that. So, what has changed? University of the West Indies is doing reduce, reuse, recycle, but you notice our new sponsor and partner is you, through the GraceKennedy Foundation. Thank you very much. And I will take any questions for the remaining 2.5 minutes. Yes.
I have a question about the PET bottles, right? You said that if you freeze them, you can have the carcinogen going into the water.
No, pause. If you freeze a PET bottle, there's no carcinogen there. What you're doing is you're weakening the structure of a bottle that has a low temperature threshold. If you heat it up too much, it starts to do funny things. If you freeze it, it starts to bulge. You never notice when you freeze them? Right, so that's what's happening. But as you do that, you're weakening the structure of the bottle and making it more porous. So everything you put in now goes into the cracks between, stays there. The next time you think you wash it, some of it leaches back out. Yes. First time use, no problem, which is why it's good to use the first time. Or at room temperature, I would say you can get 2 use out of it or 3 use, but beyond that, no, you don't want to go down that road. Any other questions, queries?
You are going to collect the bottles.
Okay, yes. So we're going to have, through the GraceKennedy Foundation, Crystal Gale is over there. Crystal is working with GraceKennedy Foundation. Rachel Allen is working with my office, and they connect. And when you work out your schedule, we will send somebody to collect from these. Or let's say you find that once a week is what you want. If you could find a holding area that you could put them, so empty these to a central place. We could come once a week, once every 2 weeks. It depends on your volume. But we will come and take them from you and take them to the recycle center. Pardon? No, we just empty it. With the same teeth. And better yet, if you put a nice bag in there and you know that you can get cornstarch bags. You have plastic bags and you have plastic bags and you have plastic bags. Well, if we're trying to reduce plastic, why do I want more plastic? If what I use in my offices, all of the university, we use cornstarch bags. They break down in sunlight in 72 hours. I don't, but I can get a sample for you, yes? So they're garbage bags, but they don't last more than a week. So if you know you're going to keep something in here for 2 days, those are the perfect bags. If you know you're going to have to store something somewhere, then you want your regular polyurethane bags, and you can pick those up. Any other questions, queries? Scandal, it's on your paper. You tell me what you find. Scandal bags are actually type 4. Yeah, well, true. It's not called a scandal bag, is it? It's a type 4, which makes it pretty stable and is therefore going to last a long time. If you go to Riverton, a lot of type 4 scandal bags just sitting there. Pardon? No, just for bottles. Bottles. Because we want to be able to shred this. Either compress it or shred it to make those pellets. Then we can ship that off and start making lumber, shirts, carpets. The shirts? No, that's as flammable as this. You mean if you wear it and rub your hand 2 times, it's going to light?
I don't know.
No, they aren't. No.
When you ship the plastic bottles and you make some money off it, will you share it with GraceKennedy?
Can I tell you? I'm not interested in the money. You notice I wasn't from the Department of Economics or Finance or Accounts. I'm from the Environmental Management Division.
Collect the money that you make.
Right now, we do not collect any money. We give the bottles away for free. You know the problem with collecting money for it? You start doing the right thing for the wrong reason.
Okay.
And you might end up with your plastic bottles becoming... Remember what happened with the scrap metal? You could be drinking a soda like my friend around there and a man decide him just come for the bottle before you finish the soda. Because he want the bottle. If there are no other questions, I would like to formally present you with one of these, sir, for the camera. And this is his action of buying it, so we know that he's on board now. And you grab it by the handle. Thank you very much. And welcome to the team.